If you watch my video about the length of the Goku vs. Frieza fight, you'll know that I praised the battle between Goku and Beerus, at least in the Battle of Gods film, as one of the best fights in the entire franchise. The precise reason why I hold that battle in such high regard is because of what it does for Goku's character. Now, Goku post-Namek, in my opinion, is a very static character, and I'm going to get into that later on in the video. But needless to say, he's kind of been spinning. He's been going by the motions. He hasn't really evolved much since accepting his Saiyan heritage, and the same can be said for Resurrection F, which is probably the latest of a long list of examples of Goku just not fucking evolving because Toriyama refuses to do anything with him anymore. But in this film, even though we are retreading something from the very end of the King Piccolo saga, Goku, getting retaught a lesson he learned a long time ago, that there is always someone stronger than him. It is a retread, of course. It is a lesson that was repeated quite a few times in Dragon Ball, but given the circumstances behind the whole Zir and everything that Goku went through, it kind of made sense for the battle against him and Beerus in Battle of Gods to reiterate that. And like many things in Battle of Gods, I figured that we would be getting a better look at Goku. We would be getting Akira Toriyama actually looking at Goku from different angles to maybe explore different avenues of the character. And one of the most interesting ways you can do that is bring back an old villain to see how Goku will react to him, to serve as kind of a counterpoint to see where Goku is now in comparison to where he was when he last fought Frieza. And then Resurrection F completely fucks it all up. As I said in the intro, the very purpose behind the Goku vs. Beerus battle in the film is to bring Goku back to Earth. The Goku that we see in Battle of Gods is a very arrogant one. He acts almost like Vegeta in several different ways, if you really pay attention to what happens in the film. He does not want anyone else's help, even though this is the guy who has never beaten a single main antagonist. I'm not talking henchmen, I'm not talking secondary antagonists, I'm talking about guys like Vegeta, like Frieza, like Cell and Buu. He did not beat them all on his own. He needed the assistance of other people to pull it off. And yet in the film, Goku expressly states that he dislikes relying on other people's help to do it. And he also makes several, very strange observations when it comes to powers. He says that he doesn't expressly say Vegito cannot beat Beerus, but he overblows Beerus' power based on something Gotenks and his own son Gohan can do to him as something that would probably wreck even Vegito. Piccolo and Master Roshi, both in the Battle of Gods film, doubt that Goku is even worthy of being in the ritual because they don't think he's righteous-hearted anymore. They think he's become selfish and too prideful. And the whole dialogue between Beerus and Goku is what makes the movie and what makes the battle. It's all about pride and Goku's pride getting put back in a more normal place where it's not going to get into him where it's not going to get into his way anymore. It's not going to make him cocky and arrogant as he is in Battle of Gods. So, as a logical continuation of the Battle of Gods story arc, you would maybe expect to see some other avenue of Goku be explored. Maybe the fact that he is a bit too selfish, that he's a bit too ready to let the villain win, to raise the stakes and make the fighting more interesting because he's a battle junkie. Beerus even calls him a punch junkie in the dub of the film, and the film almost does this. But the problem is it completely fucks it up, much like the Android saga. It takes material that could have worked really, really well one way, and then fucks it up by trying to shoehorn it into a completely other way that we just already saw get resolved in the last movie. Goku is constantly called arrogant throughout the entire film. He acts superior to Frieza. He, kind of talks back to Vegeta. He is just, once again, an arrogant ass who thinks he's a number one king of the world baby, and this comes back to bite him in the ass multiple times in the film. And it comes back to bite him for the first time when Whis jabs him in the side and tells him he's arrogant, and because of his arrogance, he lets his guard down because he thinks, he's he's the best, and so he doesn't have to worry about his own personal safety. And then once again, in the laser scene where, even as a god, Sorbet manages to, almost kill him. He shoots him very close to the heart, and he brings him down. And as you've already seen why this is a problem for me, it's because we just had an entire other movie that happened not too long ago before this one that is all about bringing Goku back down to Earth. It is all about Goku's arrogance being smashed to pieces, him realizing I'm not the best, I'm not going to underestimate my opponents, and he even did that to Beerus in Battle of Gods. He has that whole moment in the film where he, like a cocky asshole or Vegeta, he is a Super Saiyan 3, and then he asks Beerus if he thinks 3 is too much for him. He'll happily dial back to 2. And the whole point of that film was to knock Goku back down to Earth, to put him in a position where he is a bit more level-headed, where he's not going to act like Vegeta anymore, where he's not going to let his Saiyan pride, and yes, Goku obviously does have his own variation on that, to get in his way. And yet, Resurrection F keeps on hammering this whole point home, except in a bit of a different way, but essentially it's the same thing. Goku's an arrogant ass. He's underestimating his opponent because he thinks he's a #1 king of the world, baby. Once again, even though we just had an entire other fucking movie that serves to show us why Goku should not think and act like this. And this is a particular problem with Goku, though... Though I will say that Goku is the least annoying of the 3 main characters, and at least the way he's written. I think Vegeta and especially Frieza are far more infuriating for me. But Goku is very problematic, especially because the film almost does something that I feel like we should finally address. And that's the fact that Goku is kind of a selfish being. And this is not unfounded rumor or stupid fucking headcanon being injected from me into the show. There are factual interviews by Akira Toriyama where he admits that Goku does not really care about things like his family. He doesn't really have any paternal instincts. All he wants to do is to fight. And one thing that I liked about the Android Saga ending is that Goku recognizes that his selfishness caused the situation to escalate, and then he decides to stay dead because he probably feels that if he sticks around and another villain shows up, he's probably going to let the villain escalate the situation again just so he can, get his fighting boner quenched. And that was a really good way to end the arc, and that was kind of Goku being mature. Then the Buu Saga completely shits on this by having him apply stupid Saiyan logic to everything again. And then this film almost does the exact same way, except this would have been a far more effective way to do it than the Android Saga. In this situation, if only a few lines of dialogue were rewritten, so instead of Goku being arrogant like he is in Battle of Gods, you just have the film deal with the fact that he selfishly puts his own amusement above the safety of the planet. That way, when Frieza destroys the planet at the end, you could really shake Goku to his core. You could really put Goku in a situation where he directly destroyed the planet. It wouldn't be something like the Android Saga where it's him being a selfish asshole, but then everybody else in that arc being written in the exact same way. No, this would have been Goku selfishly deciding to let Frieza go so he can just come back and threaten the Earth again, just so Goku can have another sparring partner for his own amusement, and that results in the Earth being destroyed. That would have been a very powerful way to shake Goku to his core, to have Goku realize I'm doing the same thing I used to again. Like, this is the Android Saga again. This is me being a selfish prick and putting my own amusement above the safety of the planet. Like, if I just killed Frieza, I could have ended it. And the film almost does this. And then it destroys it with the ending, where Goku, admits what he did wrong. He tells it to Vegeta, and then he suggests that they should work together. And that's an aspect I'm going to get to in the Vegeta section, because that really bothered me with the ending here. And then when Vegeta says, nah, I don't want to work with you, we're never going to be able to work together. Like, that's preposterous. It's not like we spent the entire last volume of the Majin Buu saga working together. Like, it's impossible. And then Goku says, yeah, we're never going to be able to work together. It was kind of dumb. Like, yeah. And then they just laugh it off because fuck all you people who want character development. Just fuck you right in the nether regions. Yeah, fuck you good. And yeah, a potentially interesting direction to take Goku is completely missed. The movie pretty much kicks you in the nuts if you thought that they would have the balls to actually draw attention to the fact that Goku is kind of a selfish prick. And this serves as just another example for me where I feel like Toriyama's whole thing about wanting to make Goku selfish, him wanting to have this certain poison, as he says in the character, isn't so much that he wants Goku to be selfish, so much so that he can be a fucking idiot so that he can write plots easier. Because if he keeps treating Goku like an idiot who never, ever, ever, ever learns anything, then he can just keep writing stupid, contrived bullshit like the Android saga and like the Buu saga, instead of finding halfway decent ways to make the plot happen. Because if you really look at it, nothing in this movie should have gone the way it does if Goku just fucking learned anything. The same thing can be said for the Android saga, which is mind-blowingly similar to this in the way that it has a lot of good ideas. It has so much potential, but because Toriyama could not be asked to just put 5 extra minutes of thought into anything, it all falls apart. Goku's arrogance did not need to be drawn attention to again. We already had an excellent fucking discussion about that in the last movie. We did not need it again. What we needed to do, and what you almost did, for fuck's sake, is draw attention to Goku's selfish desire to let threats escalate just so he can, have more entertainment out of it. And that would have been amazing. That would have been a great way to take Goku's character. It would have proven my suspicion that the Dragon Ball that we would be getting now would be a little bit smarter. It would be a little bit more self-aware of what it does and how it treats its characters, and it was going to be a bit smarter in the way it looks at its characters. But once again, opportunity to develop Goku is gone. He's regressed again. Everything that was accomplished in Battle of Gods effectively means jack shit by the beginning of this film, and then the lone glimmer of potential brilliance is fucked right up the ass and destroyed. So yeah, Goku in Resurrection F. Just awful. Just unbearably obnoxious. I do not like this character anymore. He's just a selfish prick, not because... well, of course he is because of the writing, because Toriyama needs him to stay a selfish prick so he can contrive more bad storylines like the Android saga and even kind of the Buu saga, though admittedly the Buu saga is actually really, really fun, where the Android saga is just awful all the way through. But you get what I mean. It is just a sad situation because Goku, probably more so than any other Dragon Ball character, really needs some fucking development, and I think you could have drawn so much interesting attention to that fact. You could have made it a good running theme, and you almost had it. If you just rewrote the ending and some of the dialogue, you could have had an actual Dragon Ball product that draws attention to the fact that Goku selfishly puts his own desire for fun and fighting above saving the planet, and that results in the planet being destroyed. And it would have been destroyed permanently, well, there are the Namekian Dragon Balls, but it got destroyed, and that could have been such a powerful moment for the character. And the film even acts like it is for about 2 minutes before Goku and Vegeta just laugh in your face for thinking they're gonna get any character development. So yeah, fuck Goku Resurrection F. He's certainly not the worst, most egregious offender in the whole film. Like I said, Vegeta and Frieza are really, really bad. But given the fact that he has been on autopilot and acting this way for about, 20-something years, it's still really, really bad, especially because Battle of Gods was self-aware enough to draw attention to the fact that Goku is kind of a prick. and then they just completely backpedal on it here because Toriyama could not be asked to write a proper, honest-to-God script again. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the second part of my Resurrection F analysis. It actually went surprisingly well, considering the fact that I didn't even write a script for it. But yeah, if you enjoy this video and if you want to see the future parts where I'm going to be analyzing Vegeta and Frieza and giving you guys my concluding thoughts on the film, or you want to check out some of my other Dragon Ball related stuff, please comment, like, or subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.